Good evening to all. Can you hear me clearly? You could just put yes or no in the chat. Yes, great. Thank you so much for joining us. We will get started in 1 minute. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Omega Kappa Chapters webinar for this is the first one for the year. And our topic tonight will be Diabetes Management Unlocked, empowering you to take control. My name is Alia Brown, and I am the president of the Omega Kappa chapter of Sigma Theta Tau International, which is an honor society of nursing. And we welcome you this evening. But before we move on, let us pray. Father God, thank you for bringing us here this evening. Thank you for those that are here and those that are on their way. Bring them safely on. Lord Jesus, as we go through this presentation or this webinar this evening, allow the information by the presenter to be received. Lord Jesus, allow the participants, the attendees to understand and be able to apply the information to their everyday life. These things I ask in your name, I pray. Amen. So once again, welcome to the Omega Kappa Chapters webinar. And if you don't know about the Omega Kappa chapter, let me give you some information about us. We are the only multi-country chapter in the Latin America um, region. We are made up of countries such as the Bahamas. I'm from the Bahamas, Jamaica, Trinidad, the US, the UK, just to name some of the countries that make up this chapter. Now, we are a chapter from Sigma Theta Tau, and Sigma is made up over more than 100,000 nurse leaders from around the world. And this organization was founded in 1922 by six nursing students. Um, and we have more than 600 chapters at institutions of higher education, as well as healthcare partners with Australia, the US, Thailand, and Wales, just to name a few countries. And our membership includes clinical nurses, administrators, academic nurse educators, researchers, policymakers, entrepreneurs, and other working professionals, nursing professionals, to fulfill the organization's vision of connected, empowered nurse leaders transforming global health care. All right. So that's just a little bit about our chapter and our organization. And the reason why we're putting on this webinar this evening is to bring awareness and empowerment to those persons who may be at risk for diabetes, who may have been diagnosed with diabetes, because even though it is a topic that or a chronic condition that people hear a lot, sugar, some people use the word diabetes mellitus, some persons may know it as, but most persons would say diabetes. Even though it's a common non-communicable disease, it is still causing a lot of increased morbidity and mortality. So the prevalence of it is high and is causing a lot of deaths around the world. Just to give you some information as it relates to that, on an international scale, in 2021, it was recorded that more than 537 million adults between the ages of 20 to 79 are living with diabetes. So that's 1 in every 10 person. Um, they said that they predict that number to increase to 643 million by 2030 and 783 million by 2045. If we look at the statistics for the North America and the Caribbean, they said that 1 in every 7th adult or 7 adults, 51 million, are currently living with diabetes. And they said that 1 in 4 adults living with diabetes are undiagnosed. So even though we hear about it a lot, there are still more and more persons that are being diagnosed with diabetes, and we want to ensure that persons are able to manage their diabetes. Yes, you may have that condition or that chronic condition, but we want persons to live longer, healthier lives, and that is what Mr. Croker, Desmond Croker, will be speaking on this evening. So, some information about our presenter for this evening. Mr. Desmond Croker is a dedicated health professional and visionary entrepreneur, serves as the founder and the CEO of Annie's Memorial Chronic Diseases Education Center, also known as AMSEC, with a profound commitment to improving the lives of individuals affected by chronic diseases. Desmond has channeled over 3 decades of healthcare expertise in the establishment of AMSEC. His journey in healthcare began as a registered nurse, where he acquired invaluable hands-on experience in patient care. And with his passion for education, he transitioned into the role of a nurse educator. He is dedicated 2 decades to shaping the next generation of healthcare professionals. And in 2007, his personal tragedy fueled his determination to address the inadequacies in chronic disease management. So, as a Caribbean certified diabetes educator for the past 12 years, he has been on the forefront of diabetes education initiatives. His leadership was instrumental in the management of chronic disease clinic, where he successfully implemented diabetes self-management education and support programs. The genesis of AMSEC, his company, is deeply rooted in his personal experience having lost his mother to diabetes complications in 2007. He has been committed and recognized and earned his international recognition in November 2024. He was bestowed the title of Senior Fellow of the International Diabetes Federation in his recognition of his his significant contributions to the field of diabetes. Other than being a registered nurse and having a master's degree in nursing, he also holds a diploma in occupational health and safety, and he is a Caribbean certified diabetes educator. He is also an active member of the Diabetes Clinicians of the Caribbean, as well as Desmond is a member of the Omega Kappa chapter and serves on one of our leadership committees. Desmond has evolved into the beacon of hope, offering personalized and impactful solutions to those navigating the complexities of chronic disease management. His unwavering dedication to creating positive change in healthcare is steering his company AMSEC towards becoming a global force in chronic disease and support. So with no further ado, we would like to bring on our presenter for this evening, Mr. Desmond Croker.
Okay, thank you very much, Alia, for that wonderful introduction. And I want to join you in welcoming the um, almost 70 devices that are on this evening. This is an indication that you are interested in the topic that we are going to share this evening. And I trust that as you listen and as we interact, so we're going to have some interaction, right? So as we interact, you will be more empowered to make the decisions that you need to make in terms of diabetes management, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for a family member, a friend, whoever. Um, the aim is to equip you with the knowledge that is available so that you can pass it on and help to in the fight against this dreaded disease called diabetes. All right, so I'm gonna go straight ahead now and start sharing my screen so that we can move along. Oh, please allow me sharing privileges, Alia. Alia, oh, Alia went off. Raul, you're the host. No. So you're gonna have to I think it seemed like Alia had a it seemed like Alia got bounced off. Raul Dundas, are you there?
Hi, Desmond. Sorry about that.
Yeah. You're now the host. You're gonna please give me sharing privileges.
Okay. There you go.
Okay then, thank you. All right. Are you seeing my screen? Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great, great. All right. So this evening, we have entitled the topic for today's session, Diabetes Management Unlocked, empowering you to take control. And we're going to talk about the role of self-management in the fight against diabetes. That's what the essence of our presentation is about. All right. All right. So a quick overview. All right. Diabetes is a chronic disease that affects how the body processes sugar. So we need sugar in our body for energy. All right. Whether you have diabetes, whether or not, we all need sugar in our body. So the concept of believing that when you have diabetes, you don't need sugar, we need to throw that out the door right away. All right? We all need sugar, and we need sugar for energy. However, for the person with diabetes, the body is having a challenge with processing the sugar. All right? Remember, I just said that we need sugar for energy. But in order for sugar to be converted into energy, it takes a process. And the body is having a challenge with processing the sugar. And so, because of that challenge, sugar remains in the blood for longer than it should. And it would cause a whole lot of damage, which we're going to talk about as we go. All right. So that is the first thing that we want to get off. The other thing is that there are two main types of diabetes. There are others, but the two main types that we focus on when we talk about diabetes. All right, the first one is type 2, which make up like about 5 to 10% of the diabetes population. And this type is caused by what we call an autoimmune condition, where the immune system, the body's defense system, starts to fight against itself. In this case, it is fighting against the organ that is responsible for processing sugar. That's the pancreas. And so it fights the pancreas and kills out the cells that is supposed to produce insulin, which is the hormone that helps with the processing of sugar. So that is type 1. And like I said, a very small percentage of the diabetes population have type 1 diabetes. So this happens mostly in children. All right, there are some adults that develop it, but it usually generally will occur in children. All right, so because the cells that is responsible for making insulin are destroyed, the person with type 1 diabetes has to inject insulin for the rest of their life. So far, right? Because we know with all the technology and all that is happening, we don't know what can happen in the near future. But so far, the person with type 1 diabetes has to inject insulin every time they eat, so that insulin will be available to process sugar and turn it into energy. Now, type 2 diabetes is the one that I like to focus on a lot, because between 90 and 95% of the diabetes population have type 2 diabetes. With type 2 diabetes, it's either the body is unable to produce the insulin, the pancreas is unable to produce the insulin, or the insulin is not functioning effectively. All right? And that, when that occurs, we call it insulin resistance. So there's insulin resistance occurring that is preventing the processing of sugar so that the body can use it, convert it, that sugar, into energy. So while type 1 diabetes, there's little that we can do to prevent type 1. For type 2, there's a lot of what happens is linked to lifestyle factors. Now, I just talked about insulin resistance, the body not being able to use insulin effectively. And the main thing that is preventing insulin from functioning effectively, processing the sugar, is fat in the body. And so we know that fat in the body, or I should say excess fat in the body, right? Because again, the body needs fat, all right? But excess fat in the body is linked to lifestyle factors like the diet you have, the the number of times you exercise, and we will continue to talk about those as we go along. All right, so there are two main types, type 1 and type 2. Now, when diabetes is not controlled, over time, it leads to complications. And these complications include heart disease. So the person ends up with heart failure or a heart attack. They end up with kidney failure where the kidneys stop functioning. And so they have to be on dialysis. All right. Nerve damage. All right. Where they start feeling burning and tingling in their feet and their hands. And it gets really severe. And that also can lead to amputations, all right, because there's that burning and tingling can be as a result of poor circulation, and the poor circulation will cause agitation of the nerve endings, and that is why those nerve endings are being agitated. That is why you feel those pins and needles burning and sticking sensation in your hands and the feet. Another complication of diabetes, vision problems. All right, again, this excess sugar in the blood causes a whole lot of a lot of complications. These are just a few of them, or probably say the major ones, but quite a number of havoc uncontrolled diabetes cause in the body. Now, self-management plays a crucial role in preventing these complications. And this includes maintaining a good quality of life. And we're going to talk a little bit more about why self-management as we go along. So our objectives for this evening is to understand the role of self-management in diabetes management. And we'll do so by exploring self-management strategies. We're going to talk about empowering persons, empowering individuals to take control of their health. And then we'll highlight the importance of diabetes self-management education and support, or DSMES, and its role in diabetes self-management. So now, when you have diabetes or any chronic disease, any condition, one of the things that happen is that you feel sick, you go to the doctor, and the doctor will probably write a prescription for medication, talk with you about exercising, talk about which they tell you you need to exercise, you need to eat properly, and send you home. After that, after leaving the doctor, you may go to the pharmacy, get your medication, but you head home. Again, the doctor may say that, oh, you're going to go home, take these things, and come back and see me X time. Let's say 3 months' time. The thing, however, when you leave that doctor's office and you go to your home, you are in charge of everything else that is related to your diabetes management, any chronic disease that is. All right, but we're focusing on diabetes. You are the person in charge. It therefore means that you are the one that must make the decision as to when you're going to check your blood sugar. You are the one that is going to make the decision as to how you eat, what you eat, when you eat. You are the one that make the decision as to if you're going to exercise, what kind of exercise you're going to engage in. You are the one that will make the decision about how you manage stress and how you what you do to cope with stress. You are the one that is going to decide whether or not you're going to take the medication, what time you're going to take the medication. So tell me then, if all of that you're doing, who is in charge of your diabetes management? You or the doctor? Come, let me get some responses from the audience. Who is responsible for your diabetes management? You or the doctor?
You.
Uh, all right. There are some people saying, right? Yes, of course. So it is important for anybody who have diabetes to understand that they are the one responsible. All right? They are the one responsible for the diabetes management, nobody else. Anybody else is going to be persons who will assist you. All right? Anybody else is people who are assisting you in your role of managing your diabetes. It means, therefore, that you need to be equipped with the knowledge, with the skills, and with the attitude to make these decisions. So, self-management is the key to reducing the complications, because you're the one decide whether you're going to do these things here, and doing these things are what will reduce the chance of developing complications. It also improves the quality of life. Now, let me go back here. So once you have developed, acquired, and implemented the knowledge, the skills in diabetes management, there is benefit. One benefit is improved blood sugar control. When you check your blood sugar, it's going to be within the normal range. All right. Like I said, we all need sugar, and so there's always some sugar in our blood. All right. But there is a normal limit that sugar should be at. And with proper management of your blood sugar, you can improve. With proper management of your diabetes, you can have improved blood sugar control. With improved blood sugar control, you can reduce your risk of developing those complications that we were just talking about. And in all, your overall well-being, your mood, your ability to carry out your daily activities, your energy levels, and things like that becomes enhanced. And so I am over it. I'm stressing the importance of self-management. You taking on the responsibility of your diabetes. Now, one of the things in self-management is medication adherence. All right. Now, quite a number of people that I have encountered prefer not to take medication, and I understand that. I understand that. However, and there is a possibility that you can manage diabetes without medication, but that has to be a process. And while that process is being pursued, the advice is that you take your medication. Now, another thing that we have is that people would say that they prefer to use alternative medicine, or bush, as we would call it. All right. And again, I have no issues with that. My concern is it working for you? All right. How do you determine that it is working for you? right? Because it's not about taking the alternative medication and not doing anything, all right? You need to be able to show that this is indeed working by showing that your blood sugar remains normal, right? I have an uncle that has been diagnosed with diabetes. He has made some changes in his lifestyle, and now he has been he was talking with me the other, I don't know if he's on the call here tonight, but he's talking to me the other day, and he was saying that I can't remember how long he was saying that he has not been on medication and his blood sugar is within normal range because he has made some adjustments to his diet. He has made adjustment to his lifestyle. So it is possible. So in the meantime, while you work, like I said, it's a process. It's important that you take your medication as directed. Now, medication adherence is a whole topic by itself, but it's important to understand how the medication works so that the medication can be helpful to you. Again, I've come across lots of people who say they take the medication, it's not working for them. And that could very well be because you're not taking it as you should. All right, you might be taking it, the doctor said take it 3 times a day or 2 times a day, and you take it 2 times a day. But those 2 times a day does not coincide with how your meals are. It doesn't coincide with the time that the medication actually works hardest. And these are the things that can hinder you seeing any progress in your medication that you're taking. Now, these medication, they have a period that they work hardest, that we call the peak time, that the medication will be performing at its best. If you do not have anything to eat, if you don't have any food in the system when medication is working at its best, that can send the blood sugar, well, depending on the type of medication you're taking, right? Like insulin, all right? And some of the oral tablets, some of them, they can send that blood sugar way down. When that blood sugar goes down, the body sees that as an emergency and it sends out sugar from its stores in the liver and the muscle. It sends out sugar from its stores to raise the blood sugar. But you remember that you did not, well, you know that you have to take your lunch, all right, or your meal whenever that time comes. And so you go and eat. And the food that you eat might have in itself too much sugar in it. And so the sugar that the body produces combines with the sugar that your meal produce, sends that blood sugar way up in the air. And you're saying, oh, I take my medication, and it didn't work. It didn't work because you didn't know how to work it properly. And so it's about understanding medication and its adherence. Now, I want to use this opportunity to talk about another specific medication that I've been hearing quite a lot, where people are trying to avoid, and that is metformin. Now, metformin is the first drug of choice for people with type 2 diabetes. It's the first drug of choice because one, it is affordable, and two, like I said before, the person with type 2 diabetes most of the time are having insulin resistance, where the body is having challenges with insulin processing the sugar. Now, What metformin does, one of the things that metformin does is that it removes that resistance from insulin. All right. So metformin does not act on the blood sugar as other oral medication does. It doesn't act on the blood sugar, it acts on the insulin resistance. Some other medication that you might be taking orally for diabetes, most of the other medication I take orally for diabetes, they work on squeezing the pancreas to push out more insulin. But the main problem with people with type 2 diabetes is not the insulin. The insulin is being produced, but it's not being able to do its work effectively. So when you decide that you're going to stop taking metformin because somebody tell you that metformin mash up you and metformin does this and metformin does that, what you are doing is creating, by just switching to, I hear about people just switch to another medication because somebody tell them that metformin is not good, take this one. And what you are doing is causing more problems in your diabetes management because your body, you're forcing the pancreas to produce insulin that it's already doing. So you're overworking the pancreas, and the insulin that is being produced, guess what happens to it? It enhances the fat production. So there's more fat, and so there's more insulin resistance occurring as a result of what you are doing. So again, it's about understanding how to use the medication, how to manage the side effects. Yes, metformin can have some side effects like feeling nauseated, diarrhea, and those kinds of things. And that is because metformin, another way in which metformin helps in managing diabetes is by slowing down the pace at which food is digested. And so because food is being digested at a slower pace, it can be there in the stomach for too long, and that can cause that nauseated feeling. However, it's just a matter of the body getting used to the metformin. And if you encounter any of those side effects, that might just be for like a week the most. All right. And usually your body gets accustomed to it and you're able to tolerate it more. And that is why the doctor will prescribe like one tablet at the beginning and then start to increase it as it goes. So that the body can get accustomed to using it. So it's about learning how to manage those side effects associated with these medications. Insulin, oral hypoglycemic agents that include like the metformin, the glyburide, the Daonil, right? And then there are the GLP-1 receptor agonists like the Ozempic, all right? They all work together. They all work to manage diabetes. But like I said, it's about understanding how they work so that they can, when you take them, they can effectively help you in managing your diabetes. Now, another aspect of diabetes management is stress management and emotional well-being. Now, a lot of times when we hear the word stress, we think about problems, we think about workload, all right? And yes, that is one aspect of stress, and stress affects your ability to manage your blood sugar effectively. So, too much work, problems, domestic problems, work problems, church problems, family problems, they are all sources of stress. However, there are some additional sources of stress that we tend to overlook. For example, you might be working and not getting enough sleep. Not getting enough sleep, our body needs rest and need adequate rest in order to recover and go again. A lot of times, well, again, the recommendation is that we should have at least 7 to 8 hours of rest every night. Most of us, a lot of us, are not getting that amount of rest, and that the more you are unable to get that full rest that the body needs, the more you are creating stress on the body to manage. All right. And so that is another source of stress. And then there's the other source of stress where you might be sick, you might get the flu, or you might pick up a virus. That puts the body in emergency mode because there's something in the body that is not working right. And so now the body is working overtime to fix that problem. That is putting stress on your body. And so you will find that when these things happen, you might be taking your medication, and all of a sudden you see this blood sugar not going down. It's just high every time you check it. And this can be the source, stress can be the source of that problem. And so it's about understanding how to manage the stress so that you can how to cope with the stress so that you can manage your blood sugar well. Just give me a minute. Now, some techniques for stress reduction include deep breathing exercises, right? Support from family members and friends, talking about it. So I remember when I worked as the nurse in charge of chronic diseases clinic in Trinidad, there was a man that was coming to the clinic for a while, and his blood sugar every time he comes gets higher and higher every time. And guess what? All they keep doing is to give him more medication and more medication and more medication. And well, after becoming frustrated, the doctor decided that they're going to bring him to me so that I can seek to address the issue. So this man comes into me, and we sat there. I introduced myself, and I started to ask him by asking him what are the challenges that he is having. And for the next 2 hours, that man sat there and was rambling on and on. His wife was right there with him. And he was rambling on and on for the next 2 hours, talking about things that are affecting him. One of the things that, well, the main thing that was affecting him is that he was suspended from his job for 4 years, going on to 4 years, and there seemed to be no end in sight. Although he was sure that he was wrongfully suspended, the opportunity for him to make his case never presented himself. And that was bothering him more than anything else. That was affecting him more than anything else. This man could not have managed his blood sugar in that state. After, well, like I said, his wife was there with him, and the wife was saying to me as he was talking, I never knew that these things were affecting him. The things that he was talking, she never knew. I said that to say that one of the ways you can cope with stress is by talking. That man, after a few times just coming and us talking about what was happening with him, just giving him that opportunity to talk, he was able to see quite an improvement in his blood sugar management. And so talk, seek support from family, friends, professionals. Find that person who you can trust, who can give you that listening ear. They don't even have to always say anything, but just to give you that listening ear. And again, there might be support persons on this call as well that can be that support that the person with diabetes would need. All right. Be that listening ear so that they can, that just being doing that can help them to manage or help them to cope with the stress and help with controlling diabetes. The other thing about stress is a lot of times people with diabetes worry a lot about their blood sugar. So they're checking this blood sugar and it's always high. And they keep worrying about if this blood sugar continues being high as it is, I'm going to lose my foot. I'm going to develop kidney problems. I will get blind. And the more they worry and fret about what's going to happen to them, the more the blood sugar continues to raise. All right. And so, again, it's about addressing diabetes distress. All right. Again, the person with diabetes who is encountering these challenges, the more they worry, the more the blood sugar goes up, they're taking the medication, they eventually get so frustrated with their management that they become neglectful, all right? And they don't take the medication, they eat what they feel like eating. And guess what? When they go to the hospital and the blood sugar is high, the healthcare providers don't help because they are the ones, when they check that blood sugar is high, the patient say to them, I take my medication, or the patient might be in diabetes distress and just don't even care about anything that they're saying. And so they start, the healthcare worker see them as not being interested and start to quarrel with them and cuss them out and tell them that they don't care about their life. And guess what? That even adds more stress to the person with diabetes. And eventually they stop coming to clinic. And then, the whole cycle continues, the vicious cycle continues. And so we want to understand that these are things that contribute to stress and emotional well-being of the person with diabetes. And it's important that these things be addressed along with what medication the person should have. It's important that it be addressed along with telling them about exercising, along with telling them about meals, all right? Addressing the stressors and the distress and mental health concerns that you might be having. So for the person with diabetes, you need to be able to recognize those mental health concerns, the stress and anxiety associated with diabetes management. And understanding that addressing it can go a far way in helping to manage your diabetes effectively. So we talked about complications associated with poor management of diabetes. And preventing complication is totally totally rests on the person with diabetes. Like I said earlier, anybody else, the doctor, the nurses, family, friends, whoever, are only your support person. But you, the person with diabetes, are totally responsible for preventing complications. So, some things that you can do to help in preventing complications associated with diabetes, including ensuring that you follow up with your medical checks and screenings. Now, I want to go back to the person that believe in the alternative medication. Now, um, while again, like I said, I have no problems with using that as long as you know how much to take and as long as it is working for you. But diabetes, as I mentioned before, affects organs in the body. And it's important that you check on the health of those organs regularly. All right? The more regular you check on the health of those organs, the greater your chance of identifying problems with the organs early. We talk about the heart, we talk about the kidneys, we talk about the feet, we talk about the eyes. The earlier, the more regular we check on those organs, and we do those checks by blood tests. All right, there's certain blood tests that you do every 3 months. There's certain tests that are done every 6 months. Some are done every year. And regular checking on those things help in identifying changes in those organs early so that intervention can be done in good time to prevent the further progression of the condition. Again, as long as you understand, once you have the knowledge, the skills and attitude towards your blood sugar management, and you have not developed complications yet, you can implement the skills, the knowledge that you learn, and avoid all of those in the first place. But then there's some that it might miss them and they start developing these complications. The earlier we identify them, the better it is to find them, fix them, and prevent further progression. So you want to do your medical checkups and screenings. All right, so whether you're taking the conventional medicine, the medicine that the doctor prescribed for you, or you take another conventional, the traditional medicine, the medicine that the doctor going to prescribe for you, or your alternative medication, you need to be doing your checkups and your screening. You also want to pay attention to your foot and your skin. All right, your foot is your transportation to anywhere you have to go. And a lot of times we don't pay it any mind at all. And that's where a lot of the complications with diabetes start. So check your foot. Look for any cuts or any discoloration in the foot regularly so that you can identify these things early and deal with them. Managing your blood pressure and cholesterol. Now, these two things, they are very good friends with diabetes. Blood pressure and cholesterol, they make up the gang that attack your life and attack your body. So when this combination is there, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, they wreak havoc in your body. So you want to, along with watching your blood sugar, controlling your blood sugar, you also want to watch that blood pressure and your cholesterol. Then you also want to stay informed and engaged about your health. Now, diabetes management is evolving every day. New research is coming out on effective management of diabetes and other chronic diseases. And you don't have to be a doctor or a nurse to follow up these things. You can, the information is out there. All right. Get yourself acquainted. Well, we're going to talk more about getting yourself educated as I go on. But you are the one responsible for your self-care. And so you take that responsibility. Now, as I was saying earlier in the slide before, some strategies for diabetes self-management include monitoring your blood sugar. Now, it's important to understand that your blood sugar fluctuates throughout the day. So you checking the blood sugar in the morning, whatever reading it is in the morning, it does not stay at that point throughout the day. All right? It can go higher than that, it can go lower than that throughout the day. So it's important to understand how to monitor your blood sugar so you can have a fair idea of what is happening in terms of those fluctuations. All right. And so it's about learning when to check the blood sugar so you can have a picture of what is happening. One of the new technology that is available is, before I get to that, the instrument that most people use is the glucometer. All right, most people would have that glucometer that they would check the blood sugar weight at home, where they prick the finger and they use the strip and the machine to actually see what that blood sugar is. But that is only telling you what the blood sugar is at that moment when you check the blood sugar. Then there's the continuous glucose monitor. The continuous glucose monitor is not available in the Caribbean here. If you're going to use it, you need to have someone in Canada or UK or US that can source it for you and send it for you. But the continuous glucose monitor is able to continuously show you how your blood sugar is going. I was talking with a friend of mine who have diabetes yesterday, and he was saying that he only was able to appreciate his blood sugar when he got his continuous glucose monitor. He realized that he might be checking his blood sugar before meals, and it is one level. And when he check it after meals, it might be a little higher than it was before eating. But since getting the glucose monitor that is giving him continuous coverage of how well that blood sugar is doing, he realized that that space between eating and taking the blood sugar afterwards, that blood sugar went higher than it was when he took it 2 hours after. All right, so they use the millimoles, right, like us here in Jamaica. And so he said before meals, the blood sugar might be a 6 or a 7. And after meals, it might be like a 10, 12, or 13 when you check it with the glucometer. But with the continuous glucose monitor, he saw that it moved from that 7 to 17. And then by 2 hours, it came back down to that 10 or 12 that he saw. So checking it 2 hours after really did not give him a good picture of how well that blood sugar was monitored. So I'm saying that the continuous glucose monitor is better. However, there's the challenge with the cost of the glucometer. And like I said, it's not available here in the Caribbean as yet. All right, that is something that we need to work on. But again, I'm stressing the importance of monitoring so that you can identify the patterns and the trends of that blood sugar and its effect and the effect of other things like exercise, meals, and so on your blood sugar, so that you can intervene appropriately to get a good picture and get control of your blood sugar. Then you want to focus on your eating habits. You want to ensure that there's balance in your portion sizes of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. A lot of time, again, in our meals, there's more carbohydrates than anything else. Sometimes there's only carbohydrates in the meal. And so we want to have that control, that balance, right, of proteins, carbohydrates, and fat, so that the body gets a chance to use those nutrients to keep itself going. The role of fiber is also very important. Fiber helps slow down the pace at which food enters the system, sugar enters the system. And the slower sugar enters the blood, the better the body is able to manage it. And so you need some fiber from vegetables in that meal. All right. Like I said, that will require a whole lesson by itself. And then there's physical activity. Physical activities include anything that you can do to keep the muscles moving. All right. For some people, it might be running. Some people, it might be walking. Some people, it might be just sitting and moving the arms. All right. But anything that you can do to keep your body active. All right. So you want to, again, do exercises, because exercising is going to help the body to use up that sugar. Remember, we talked earlier about the insulin resistance that is preventing insulin from processing the sugar. Exercise helps with that. Exercise helps to remove some of the fat so that insulin can carry out its work. So physical activity, very important. Now, I've told you all about what you need to do. The challenge, however, is how you're going to do it. You don't know much about the right kind of foods. You might not know much about what kind of exercise to take. You might not know about how your medication works. We talk about medication, no understanding how it works, and you using your meals in conjunction with your medication. We talk about a lot of things that you can do to help with managing your diabetes. But the truth be told, you do not have the knowledge or the skills. You may have the attitude, some of you may have the attitude where you want this, you want to do this, but you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the skills that you need to do those things that we're talking about. And for me, this is where the health system has dropped the ball. So they tell you to cut down on your rice, cut down on your sugar, cut down on this and exercise. But then how? And that is where diabetes self-management education and support comes in. All right. Diabetes self-management education and support provides you with the knowledge, the skills, and the confidence that you need to manage your diabetes. So when you join a diabetes self-management education and support program, It will help you to make the informed decisions that you need to make, because you're going to learn about the medication that you are taking, how it works, and how to use it effectively. They're not telling you how to use it effectively in the healthcare system, right? Because maybe they don't have the time to do that or whatever. You are not learning how to use it effectively. All right. They tell you to stop, eat this, and cut down on this. But then when you stand in front of the pot and you're about to dish out your food, how much is cut down? What does cut down mean? All right. Diabetes self-management education helps you to make those decisions: when to eat, when to exercise, what exercise you can do. All right. We talk about problem solving, right? You learn what to do when situations arise with your diabetes management, because you're knowledgeable about your diabetes management. You're knowledgeable about your diabetes. You're knowledgeable about your diabetes plan. And you can make those problem solving decisions because you are equipped with the skills. Because you are knowledgeable, it means that you are going to be taking your medication as you should take it, and not necessarily how the doctor said to take it. All right. There's a difference there. So the doctor may say to take it 2 times a day. And again, what does 2 times a day mean? Does it mean you take one at 8 o'clock and one at 9 o'clock? That's 2 times a day. All right. On the diabetes self-management education, look at what you have and help you to understand how to take that medication that you are taking. All right. Again, a lot of times people with diabetes medication have to take twice a day, and they treat it like how they would treat any other medication. You take it 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening, or 8 in the morning, 8 in the evening. And really, that really might not be what would work for you. So diabetes self-management education and support provides that kind of knowledge and skill that you need. We talk about emotional and psychological support in reducing stress and diabetes distress and anxiety. Again, you learn in diabetes self-management education how to, and we encourage and promote the kind of support that you need. So from taking part in diabetes self-management education programs, it leads to better health outcomes and reduce complications associated with diabetes. So the power of education and support. Engaging in diabetes self-management education program is the best way that you can take control of your diabetes. All right. It benefits you because you work with persons who are trained in specialized in diabetes management, called diabetes educators. Now, in the healthcare system, you have people that have general training in healthcare, and they may have specialties in a few things. That general training might not be enough to help you with your diabetes management, or they may specialize in one aspect of your diabetes management, like the pharmacist or the dietitian. All right, they can tell you about your meals. All right, and so with on the diabetes self-management education program, you have all of these members of the healthcare team coming together to provide that support and coaching that you need to understand the various aspects of your diabetes management. Again, in the diabetes self-management program, you learn about the tools, the digital tools, the technology that is available, and how you can capitalize on those technology in managing your diabetes. So I want to encourage you to take control of your diabetes by creating a personal action plan. And that personal action plan must be in conjunction with a diabetes educator, someone who is versed and specialized in diabetes management, so that you will get the knowledge, the skill, and develop the attitude to create your personal action plan that is smart. Smart meaning it is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So, yes, there are some people that are able to do this on their own. I have encountered persons who was able to get control of their diabetes by implementing all of these things that we spoke of tonight on their own. And that's good. But for quite a lot of people, they need that coaching, they need that support, they need that education. And this is why I'm recommending that persons not only go to the doctor, take their medication, and just live, but you seek diabetes self-management education and support so that it can help you in your management. Now, I want to get some responses from you. Is Ali on the Ali, are you back?
Yes, I am. I will put it up right now.
Okay, all right. So I want to go to the poll questions that I have so that I can get some responses
It is up.
from the participants. So I have some questions here for you. The first one, how often do you check your blood sugar level? All right. Please select one of these so that we can have an idea of what's who are the people that we have here. All right. Select one. I'm going to give you some time to do that, a minute or so.
Let me know when you're ready for me to close it, Desmond.
Okay, thanks. Yes, I was trying to. Yes, please let's see the results of the poll.
All right, I'm gonna end the poll now
Yeah.
and share the results. There were 62 participants.
Okay. All right. So we have half of the persons never or rarely, right? And then the next highest number is a few times a week. All right. And 15% check multiple times a day. And so again, it's about understanding when to check your blood sugar. Um, the number of times that you check your blood sugar will depend on what's happening with you presently with your blood sugar management. So again, diabetes self-management would help you to um, would help you with that. Let's go to the next question. Um, how are we gonna do this one now? If you're experiencing high blood sugar after a meal, what steps would you take to manage it effectively? We want to hear from we want to hear what you have been doing to manage that blood sugar when you check it and it's high.
Persons can unmute their mic or put their answer in the chat
Yeah.
or raise your hand and we can unmute you.
Any response? Anybody wants to take that up?
Hello?
Somebody wants to say something? Oh, I see.
Yes. The question is it
Oh,
a verbal answer
that
or
sounds like
written
my
answer?
uncle, William.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
somebody.
Man, go to presentation. The question is supposed to be answered verbally or written.
You can speak. You can go ahead.
Okay. Normally after a meal and your blood pressure sugar is high, I do around 40 push-ups, and you would press the C from 180 to 110 in 40 push-ups immediately after.
All
So
right, all right.
that's what I do.
All right, all right. And that's my uncle that I was telling you of earlier that has been able to manage his diabetes with diet, exercise, lifestyle changes. All right. Thank you very much for that input. And I'm seeing quite a lot of input from persons on the chat. Drink a lot of water and activity. Drink lots of water. All right. All right. Somebody said they don't have diabetes, but they check in 2 hours. All right. Okay. So so a lot of what has been a lot of what has been put here are some of the things that that you can do. All right. Again, there must be some structure in how you do it. And so with self-management education, you can have some more structure in it. Like I said, yes, there might be people that are able to do it on their own, and kudos to them. Yes, go right ahead as long as you're able to do it on your own and get it done. Um, go right ahead. But then I'm talking to others that might not have that knowledge, might not have that skill. And I'm saying that self-management education can work for you. Next question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in managing your diabetes daily? All right, so again, we're looking at the persons who have diabetes on the call. How confident are you? And what is one area in diabetes management you would like to improve?
Participants are free to open their mic and speak, or you can put it in the chat.
I'll speak.
You can go ahead.
Yeah. For me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident am I to manage it? I would say a 6 right now. I believe I can do a lot better, but I allow my work to
Okay.
keep me off track. And one of the areas for me would be really exercise to keep the commitment of exercising. I do not exercise as I should, as often as I should. And I have testimony where when I exercise, the blood sugar readings are way better. So I know for a fact that exercise definitely works. If it's high and I put in some exercise, it comes down. So I know that exercise is critical for me, but I feel miserably in that area. But coming to this call tonight, I think I will be more committed from tomorrow because you were able to really share the importance of managing my diabetes.
So
So
Anthony, what would you say are the things that prevent you from exercising as you should?
commitment, just putting it in my calendar, marking it off, and like, yes, I commit to myself. And stop
Okay,
promising myself that I will tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow morning comes and I do a million other things, and the day finish and I do exercise. So I need to block it out in my calendar and have,
okay,
is it committed that you must go.
exactly,
And
exactly.
yeah, so that's what I intend to do going forward and try hard
Right. So
to,
and
to
and
the
so it
medical
needs
level.
to be a part of your schedule. As you said, put it in your
Yes.
calendar. All right.
Yeah.
It must
Yeah.
not be oh, if I get time to
Mm-hmm.
exercise. It,
Correct.
it needs to
Mm.
be part of your calendar. And
Yeah.
and so when you make it part of what you have to do, just like how you would not miss an appointment or a meeting. All right. You have
Exactly.
a meeting with
Yes.
yourself when you have to exercise. So you need to ensure that you keep that meeting with yourself. And it goes back to planning as well, so
Mm-hmm.
that um you, as you say, you calendar it. So there is a specific time and day that you're going to be exercising. All right. And yes, I wish you luck as you forge ahead. Um, make that decision, plan it, execute it, and all the best. All right.
Can we comment
What?
on people's chats though? You
Pardon
allow
me.
that? Can you comment on somebody's chat?
Somebody's chat there.
In the comment
Oh, oh, oh.
in the
Yeah,
comments.
I suppose. Yeah,
Right.
somebody
Yeah,
has.
yeah. I would like to like I
Oh,
just
oh,
read Esther Jacqueline
Esther.
Brown. She says she's not confident at all. I need
Yeah.
help. I do exercise very regularly, like 6 to 7 days a week. Esther, I just
Right.
want to that's excellent.
Yes,
And you are indeed confident. You are excellent. 6 or 7 days is like
right.
perfect, So
That's good. If that's
I
what you're
commend
doing,
you. Yes.
that's excellent. That's excellent. Um, the confidence may come with understanding what to do for exercise. All right, so you might be doing this every day, and again, I endorse Anthony's commendation to you that is good. But then you might need some information as to what to do, or maybe we need to talk about what is it that causing the lack of confidence, what more you are expecting in terms of your confidence, and address that so that you can. But if you're exercising regularly, that is excellent. Just doing that alone makes a whole lot of difference. Getting some knowledge adds to it, but that makes a whole lot of difference just doing it. All right, just getting out there and doing it. All right. All right, let's move on. Let me see. Okay, so
Some persons said comment in the chat their confidence level. Some person said 5, 6, 7.
all
Persons want
right.
to add more fiber in their diet.
Yeah.
Some persons are not confident at all and want help with meal planning.
All right.
One person said 8 and they would like to exercise more. The eating habits is a area that they want to improve. Some persons want to improve their confidence level. Some persons said their work schedule hinders them from managing their diabetes better, I guess.
Right.
And eating
So
habits.
so again, like I was saying, to Anthony, your work schedule will come in the way of your diabetes management because it is two different entities. You got to make it one. All right. Your diabetes management must fit into your work schedule. And again, diabetes self-management, education, and support helps you to understand how to fit diabetes management into your schedule. All right. That is the only way it would work. If it is something separate and apart from your lifestyle, it's going to be a humbug to you. All right. It's going to be an interruption to your life. And so I believe that diabetes management should not be an interruption to your life, but it should be part of your life. And once part of your life, it's going to work for you. All right. And so I'm going to encourage you to to if persons are interested, we can form a diabetes self-management program. We can start a diabetes self-management program where you can get that knowledge and the skills that you need to manage your diabetes and move it from that 5 and 6 to a 9 or a 10. All right. To to where so you can have better management. All right, but we're gonna talk about that. Let me see if we have another question. All right. All right, I think we have looked at this in a way, challenges that you face in maintaining a healthy diet and strategies of your work. And so I like I mentioned before, we can look at creating, establishing a diabetes self-management program. We're gonna have to discuss that outside of this webinar. What I can do is to provide you with my details information on how to contact me, and we can have that arranged. So let me put my contact information in the chat. All right, so you can catch me, you can get me on WhatsApp at this number. All right. All right. You can WhatsApp me at that number.
Do you have a company email as well, Desmond? You can put the
Yes,
email as well.
email is all right. amsechhealth@gmail.com. All right. What else? We can talk about the logistics of starting that program. Are there any questions? Do you have any questions that
There's a question in the chat. Where is it? What does it mean when your health risk score for diabetes is 11 out of 47? Any recommendations?
I am not sure what that where did you get that risk score? Because usually with those risk assessment, there are guidelines that show you what the different scores mean, right? So where did you
You
get
said
that?
from the health risk tool.
A health risk tool, right? I would need to see that health risk tool so that I can know what so that I can know how they score and intervene as it is. But I can do my own assessment. All right. So you can make contact and we can talk about how you can join us in the when we start the diabetes self-management program so that you can benefit from it, right? All right. I see somebody say that they've learned a lot. Somebody asked for me to put back my information. I'm putting it back here.
I'm doing it now.
You're doing it. Um, all right. So if there are no other questions, I want to hand back over to the moderator or president of Sigma, of Omega Kappa chapter of Sigma, Miss Alia Brown. Hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Desmond. I've learned so much about taking control of diabetes. Now, I'm not a diabetic. However, in my family, diabetes and hypertension is particularly diabetes runs strongly in my family. I am borderline for diabetes. Because in the Bahamas, we're very sweet mouth. We eat everything. We like everything,
in the
you know?
Caribbean,
Yeah, we sweet mouth bad. So I'm borderline, but I'm working on it. Work schedule is an issue. I don't like exercising. I feel like I don't have time and I can't do exercise at home. I need to be in a structured gym where people tell me what to do. But food wise, I'm doing much, much better. As it
Okay.
relates to food, I've cut out a lot of my beef eating. I've cut out a lot of fast food eating. Um, so I'm working on my diet slowly. I'm cutting out the carbonated beverages.
Uh,
So I'm more on water and orange juice and stuff like that. I love orange juice. That's a weakness for me. But more water in my diet. Don't get to exercise much, but I know that exercise is important. I definitely gotta incorporate that in my lifestyle. But thank you so much for the presentation. It was very informative. It was engaging. I love how you interacted with the participants and they were able to answer questions. So hopefully persons would reach out to you as it relates to how they can self-manage their diabetes. Because like you say, it depends on us. It's up to us. Yes, we can get that support. Yes, we can get that plan together, but it's up to us to really do the work, basically, in order to get that under control. Because like we say, there are millions of people diagnosed with diabetes, and there are millions of people dying from complications because of diabetes. Because why? It's uncontrolled. So you're not only looking at different other chronic diseases, heart disease and stuff like that. You're looking at slow wound healing. Some wounds don't never heal. All right, you're looking at other complications that causes persons' lives to be cut down. Short, persons are not living as long as they could have if they may have. When it's your time, it's your time. But management of their diabetes could have, extended that lifespan. So thank you so much for the information. Excellent presentation. And hopefully we can move into a state where we can decrease the morbidity and the mortality rates of diabetes, not only in our country, not only in our region, but also worldwide. So thank you so much for this information. All right.
I see some people asking about a recording, the recording of the.
Yes, you can find this same pre webinar on YouTube. I will drop the link, but our if you go to the our page, our YouTube page, which is called Omega Kappa Chapter of Sigma, you should be able to find this webinar on the chat. So it is there for you to have a look at. All right, so I'll just put the YouTube page on in the chat. It's called the Omega Kappa Chapter of Sigma. And this was streamed live. So you should be able to watch this recording once we conclude this webinar this evening. So thank you so much, Desmond. Hopefully we can have other webinar series as it relates to diabetes in the future. All right.
Yes, sir.
So thank you all for attending this webinar this evening. No, it's not any continuing nursing or CMEs attached to this because we did invite community members, family and friends, colleagues who may be diagnosed with diabetes or um, pre-diabetics as well, because you want to be able to, get it under control before you reach that stage as well. But mainly for those persons who have been diagnosed and trying to self-manage their diabetes. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. And please look out for more webinars as it relates to different trends that are going on in the world, in our region. We are trying to bring more awareness to our chapter, as well as try to be more, we want to inform our communities more of different trends, different conditions, different disorders, how they can manage those, so we can live healthier, longer lives. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you, Desmond, for the presentation one more time. Always a pleasure, and you're always willing to assist.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
so much for that. So with no further ado, um, Good night to everybody. Be safe and continue to live healthier, longer lives. Thank you so much.
I also want to encourage persons to when you go on the YouTube, share the information with persons who might not have missed. I see somebody put in the chat that they will have missed the session. The session is on YouTube, all right, at our on our YouTube page, Omega Kappa Chapter Sigma, all right, right.
I just sent the link so you
The
can
link
check
is in
the
there,
chat for the link.
right?
It's right there. You can click on it. You can subscribe to our channel as well and
Yes.
share the link. Thank you so much.
All right.
Good night to all.
Bye.
Good night to you too. Good night to you all too.
All right.
Night, night.
Excellent presentation. Thank you, Desmond.
Come
Hi,
Alice,
Annette.
you know, she